And we're back. FloWrestling Radio Live. The World Championships are going down. I've been awake since 2:30 a.m. Central Time. Ben,
Whoa.
did you? I know. I did the whole dang thing. I've been doing a lot. I've acclimated over the past week. Did you get up? Did you watch this morning?
I did not get up at 2:30, but I got up and watched wrestling. And the last 24 hours has been a bloodbath. America men's freestyle. We're just putting the beat down on people right now. I think we're like 15-1 in our last 16 matches or something to that effect.
Something like that. I think men's freestyle went 10-1 on the day so far.
Yep.
So the first three weights to wrestle, four, were 70, 79, 86, and 125. The only person to lose, the only American to lose this morning was Hayden Zillmer, and he still had a great morning, I thought.
Yeah, he battled with Petrashvili pretty hard. I thought he did a good job. But then yesterday too, the women went in that later session. We had Don Parrish win a gold, Hildebrandt won a bronze. And then I think all three girls made the final, right? Amit Alor, Helen Maroulis, and who's the other one that made the finals yesterday?
Amit Alor, Helen, Tamira.
Oh my God, how could we for Tamira? Because she's not even. No one's even being competitive with her. She's just whooping their butt.
Abby Nettie did lose this morning in repechage, so she did not bring home a medal. But yeah, let's start with the women. Yesterday,
that one hurt.
Don Parrish wins gold, and you go back even 1 year ago, Don Parrish did not place at the 2021 World Team Trials.
Really?
She lost to Fernside and then Velasqueza on the backside.
Wow.
Like, you even rewind one, like, she was an outside shot to make the team. Looking back 1, 2, especially 3 years ago. Now you say she's a world champion? Like, that's some serious gains. And in my opinion, it's the Mark Perry effect and the talent he's brought into that sun-kissed room in Tempe.
Yeah. I would say I didn't know a lot about Don Parrish going into the World Championships, but she looked great. Dominated her first two opponents, and she kind of had battles in the last two. I mean, the last one, it was just a lot of really, really tough hand fighting, and honestly, the Mongolian girl kind of made the big mistake. I was actually, you know what, this is funny, because I was just pontificating last night, the end of practice, what we were talking about, and I got it from, I was listening to Lex Fridman and this world chess champion, I don't remember his name, but what he was talking about was, you don't always have to go for the kill. Sometimes you can let your opponent kill themselves. And so, I kind of feel like that's what happened in the World Finals there. She was hand fighting. She wasn't giving it up. And her opponent got frustrated and then maybe tried something that probably wasn't a wise move. And then she capitalized on that. And that was how she won. So, I can bring that up to my high school group next time I see them about how, that specific strategy played out in that match.
Yeah. And, I mean, it's also similarly a strategy I think Zillmer is using. He realizes he can't fire off a bunch of attacks underneath these big guys, get caught under, like, because if he gets caught underneath a guy 40 pounds more than him, like, he's going to get squashed and they're going to go behind. So you have to be very selective, get them frustrated.
JD, I kind of thought Hayden Zillmer, I thought he was kind of big, solid sized, and I know he was a small guy at one point, but dude, he looks so small next to Gino.
Where I really noticed it is when he got on top and he like locked around Zillmer's waist and was like, could have easily done this without like even trying. Like that's when I really noticed the size difference. Yes, against his first opponents, it's like Zillmer's basically the same size as these guys, but then yes, it was very noticeable against Geno.
Yeah, that was noticeable for sure. So, and the other three guys didn't really have competitive matches. They kind of
Yeah.
I guess one easy. Zane and Jordan and David.
Well,
None of those were.
Zayn's quarterfinal was only like 5-1.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like he was ever really in any type of danger. Is how I kind of felt
Oh,
about
for
it.
sure. But
5-0.
going in, we were like, this is a huge match.
Yeah, sure.
That guy's tough. Andreessen, he's a Euro silver medalist, I believe, and Zane really shut him down.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, and Zane looked great before that. So yeah, American freestyle, men's freestyle is doing awesome. Um, yeah, Helen looks great too. That was easy. What she like foot swept the Mongolian lady. Is Mongolia getting better at women's wrestling? 'Cause I feel like we're
They've
battling them a
always
lot.
been tough, but I do think it has turned up a notch the past 3 years.
Yeah, I feel like our girls are wrestling them a lot, like far on in the tournament.
I want to take it back a little bit to the kind of strategy you were talking about, let your opponent beat yourself. Do you think that is not a good strategy to utilize if you think you are a better technical wrestler?
Yeah.
Because obviously, if you
Yeah.
think you're a better technical wrestler, you want to get in as many wrestling positions
Yeah.
as possible. Because you think the more wrestling positions you get in, and you're more likely to win them than not, the outcome is more likely going to end in your favor.
Yep. 100%. Yeah, what we were talking about last night was we were doing some top work, and I said we were talking about one specific situation, and Coach Messenbrink suggested, "Well, hey, why don't you just do this and kind of grind them into the mat, you know?" And and then I interjected by saying a lot of the high school kids, they get so impatient and think everything has to be a turn. I have to turn them here, I have to turn them there, and then they take these risks that are really unnecessary. And I said, listen, if you just grind a man out, and keep their face in the mat for 90 seconds, man, they're likely to make their own mistake. They're likely to get frustrated and do something stupid, and then you catch them on their back. So, you don't always need to go for these big moves or take chances. It's like sometimes you just got to do the basics right. And yeah, I mean, obviously, if the guy wasn't as good as you, then you should maybe take a little more risk. But when it's an even match, two people of similar skill levels, sometimes you just gotta tenderize them a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, or maybe I better this. I will ask the question: Does Dom have an asterisk next to her title because there was no Japanese woman at the weight?
Okay, so what was the deal there? Because we're actually, if we had one of our, at 76 kg, we have kind of three options who have all beaten our current representative, which would be Kylie Walker, Kennedy Blades, and Adeline have all beaten her at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And we got 0 points, right? She took did not place. So at that weight class, if we had one of those first three, we'd probably be getting some significant points because that weight is not the deepest.
Right.
We would be right there with Japan. And so I guess when I look at their roster, they obviously have a few of these, like the girl that wrestled Kayla was like, oh my God, So they have 4 champs, but there was a few I thought that didn't even place, or did they just not even? They didn't have a representative. You're saying
there's 76. The only weight they didn't have one was Dom's weight, 53. She got injured apparently like right before, and they didn't even. So they just didn't send anybody.
No, so I say no asterisk because injuries happen. If we hadn't have an asterisk by every single time that someone got hurt, like no way.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay. Sweet.
But
yeah,
it is notable because that girl is would have been the returning world champ.
She's probably a beast. Actually, so I thought Japan did worst. I don't know, but when I look at their thing,
they've only lost like 2 matches.
Well, why are we so close to them? Because they have 4 first, a third, and then of their other 4 girls, 2 are in the finals and 2 are for third place. So why is this so close? Because we had, let me go back to our team. We had Diamond did not place, and then we had Nettie took 10th place. Winchester took 5th place, and then we had third, second, first. We only had 1 first compared to them. So it feels like we shouldn't actually be that close.
It's just kind of the way the team scoring works. It's just, no bonus points, 5 extra points is all for a first place. For second place, it's just, it can be closer, but how many more to like 5th to 3rd or stuff like that, you know? A Kayla to a 1st, like, and no bonus points. Japan,
Yeah.
a lot of our girls kind of had to scrap a little bit. Japan has been pretty much rolling people up.
They really did. The one girl that wrestled Kayla in the finals was so good.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah. So I was gonna say, is the girl Sakurai that's wrestling Helen, have they wrestled before? I know she's really good, correct?
She is. I don't think so.
Okay. Cool.
Did you watch Sarah's bronze medal match
I did.
when she got choked out?
Yes, I got some feelings about this scenario.
That's not an illegal move, right?
Well, okay, that's what I'm saying.
She's got the head and arm, potentially dangerous. You can call. I'm not saying that she should have been stopped, but they literally gave Sarah a point for this.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's kind of what I was going to say is that, well, and they took, so initially they had given the other woman 2 points, and I don't think they called a fall. But this maneuver, where you're rolling towards the trapped arm side, not away from the trapped arm side. Listen, the only way you're getting someone, this is freaky, the only way you're getting someone here at a high level, we're not talking little kids wrestling, is you're choking them out. Correct. That's it. That's the only way you're getting them to roll over that direction, because it just doesn't make sense. People who are wrestling at a high level, like you saw with Sarah, they have such good balance. Well, if you continue to move in that direction, and it's actually especially, I don't know if it was dangerous or likely in Greco, because you can't touch the legs in Greco. In freestyle, sometimes you can get a hold of the leg and it can take some pressure up your neck, but you're going to go to sleep. You're going to go to sleep. And so, you know, like, it's not illegal, JD. That's a legal move. If Sarah rolled over without going unconscious, they would have given the girl 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they either need to just completely say, like, you can't roll that way if they're going to do that, or at least give them the first points when they roll them over unconscious. But you're going to see a lot of unconscious people if you let people roll that way, because obviously, in say if it was in jiu-jitsu, you would just roll over, right, and not let them choke you. But in freestyle wrestling, that is literally the point, is you can't roll over. So you're holding this strong base, and you're essentially making their choke stronger by holding your strong base. So yeah, it creates this really stupid situation where if you're wimpy and you go over without getting choked, then you give up points. But if you get choked all the way out, then most of the time they wipe it.
Yeah.
What do you suggest? 'Cause I agree, it's dumb.
I mean, you can't give Sarah a point there, though. Like, that's by definition
but
not
what do you
an
think?
illegal.
What do you think about they even took the other girl's points away?
I'm not mad at taking her points away. Correct. They took her points away. I'm not mad if she gets the takedown.
Sarah didn't go unconscious, they would have given her 2.
True. You need to get the turn before they go out.
It's nice, but that's the problem. This is not an illegal hold.
I know.
That's what's so bogus about it.
Should it be an illegal hold?
Well, that's what you need. That's what I think you need to do. I think you need to say, like, this is illegal. This is illegal.
Going this way is legal. Going this way is illegal.
Yeah. Again, unless the person is really doesn't understand their balance, which at a high level they all do. They're not going to get rolled that way. They're just not. And the only way that you're rolling that way is if you put them either unconscious or nearly unconscious. So, you know, honestly, part of me says go back to old catch wrestling and just say, listen, you get choked out and pinned, you get pinned. Sorry. Right? I mean, like, then you got to defend your neck a little bit. And if you get pinned, you get pinned. And sorry, okay, wake up and then go off the mat. Like, that's what part of me says. But then part of me says, like, that would be completely unacceptable to most people. And that's totally crazy. So maybe we shouldn't do that. But then if the person was getting choked and they knew that they were going to get choked out and pinned, then they'd probably just roll over. So then that would solve that issue. You'd probably have really anyone going unconscious, because the penalty for going unconscious there would be really bad.
There are other positions and turns that we utilize that people go over because it puts their shoulder in pain or whatever.
Well, I don't think there's any. I don't think there's another one where the person is so clearly going to go unconscious. What in freestyle or folk style. So like the assassin, for example. the assassin, you can turn them, and this is being banned in some high school states. You can turn them over, right? You can't actually choke them out. The only way they get choked out is if they turn straight into it. It puts pressure on their neck. But if they continue to turn away from it, there's not enough choking power there, right? You can't actually choke them out. They actually put themselves out, which is when they turn in, the refs should just call the pin and say it's over with. Like, that's simple, Or a regular front hand pitch where you're going arm deep, you can get pretty tight, but it's pretty rare. I want to say almost never will you put someone all the way out. But this situation, you're seeing, I saw this 2 or 3 times last spring in high school level wrestling. You see it relatively regularly at the senior level in Greco, where obviously this is women's freestyle. Yeah, there's no point in going that way unless you're choking them out. So I don't know. Part of me says, let's just make it legal, and then people are going to roll over. So cool. Or let's totally outlaw it. That's what I say.
Yeah. I think you probably do have to outlaw it. I don't think you're going to be allowing chokes.
Come on. It's pretty awesome, though.
You don't have to convince me. I love it, but I think Mom in the stands might not appreciate it.
What about banned at the what
Youth?
about this? Banned at high school and under level, legal at anything like U20 and above.
I don't hate it.
Defend yourself.
Protect your neck.
Because protect your neck, because going unconscious, you see Sarah just woke up and then she kept wrestling and she was fine.
I know. I didn't want to critique the announcers, but you do need to get your wits about you and stuff. And I'm sure it is tough. You need some minutes, but it's not like she was in pain afterwards.
Yeah. No, there's no pain. I had one other kid, the other position where people go unconscious a decent amount, and it's just because they don't think about it, or I guess it's a lot of times kids pop out, is they get headlocked. I don't know if you'll be able to visualize, but they get headlocked and they bridge and they flip themselves over so their body is facing down to the mat. You know what I'm saying? But the top person is still keeping the headlock. I've seen a few people go out like that, but there's not a ton of positions in wrestling where you do go all the way out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like that one, the second one I described, the bottom person clearly puts themselves in that scenario by bridging and then kicking over. Like the top guy doesn't actually want them to go there, where in this one, the only way that the top or
the offensive person is directly doing this.
Directly. They're forcing it, yes. Yeah, so I'd honestly be cool with that. Back in the day, I'm going to tell you a story from before you were at FloWrestling, JD.
Okay.
We did FPL, Flow Professional League, and
I recall.
And it lasted for a season. It was all right, but it was hard. It was really hard getting the matchups, which me and Christian kind of both complain about once in a while, getting the right matchups. But there was one meeting where I came down after the season and we were talking about season 2, and we ended up not doing season 2, but what we're going to do. And then all of a sudden, I don't know, Martin just goes, it should be submission or pin, like the old wrestling. And then for 2 hours, we were going to do a season of submission or pin. It was going to happen for 2 hours. And then I don't remember. And then
That's just jujitsu with pins.
Well, that's where, okay, but it's awesome because that's the original wrestling. You know that, right?
Yes, what do you call wrestling, it? Catch wrestling or like Frank Gotch type stuff, yes.
Yep. Because there's no guard play, because if you went into your guard, you'd be
get pinned,
right? So you can't get pinned. So I actually, for me, I would be fascinated. I would love to compete in that style because it looks like so much fun, and it plays right to my wheelhouse because I have both wrestling and a knowledge of jiu-jitsu. But yeah, so I think that'd be fun. So let's have some fun. Let's let a few chokeouts go on here.
Flow catch wrestling.
Flow catch. There we go.
Bring it back.
Love it. Absolutely.
All right. We should. Sarah's semifinal, her loss to Mongolia. Did you watch this?
Yeah, the girl was just really tough, really stingy. Sarah wasn't getting anything clean.
I think Sarah needs another really good leg attack besides the single leg. That's all she shot in that match. She got it in the first period, and then it was like the Mongolian girl was like, okay, I felt this. I know you're going to shoot this. even though, like, so I'm just going to shut it down. And she was able to. She was 4 foot nothing, stocky, and could hold position.
Yeah, another Mongolian woman we're talking about. Yeah, I think that maybe you're right. Sarah is very reliant on her single leg offense, so I think another leg attack. But then also, something after the fact. Like Jordan Burroughs, really early in his career, was just shooting a lot of double legs, and then obviously everyone decided to get low, and then he developed more. Right, he developed a really good re-attack game. He developed a really good like mantis go behind game, and so he kind of really added to his arsenal. And I think that's probably where Sarah's at too. Is like you're saying, she's
the world is adapting.
The world's adapting. She's heavily relying on her single. They know she's probably going to go there, and yeah, they're trying to lock it down.
The Burroughs double is looking good this morning, though.
Yeah.
He's putting his face through some dudes.
Yeah, there was not a lot of competitiveness in those first 3 matches he wrestled. So he went 12-1, 12-1, and then 10-0. I watched the 10-0 live, and I went back and I watched the other ones, and they weren't very competitive.
His semifinal will be interesting. It's against a Bulgarian, Umar Pashayev, and this dude, he is tricky. He's very stereotypical, like, foreigner.
But can he battle, though?
I don't know.
Can he go hard for 6 minutes?
I didn't say it was going to be competitive, but I think it'll be interesting.
This dude's got a name, too. Look at his name. Ali Pasha.
He's got a couple names.
Ruslanovich Umar Pashayev. Wow.
He, and, like, doesn't do a whole lot, but, like, then all of a sudden in the flurry, it's like, boom. Explosive athleticism, crazy feel type stuff. And he hit a last-second duck to win in his quarterfinal.
Dude, sorry to get distracted. I just looked at 70, and I remember thinking about this yesterday, but I didn't. Freaking Josh Feinsilver forces our Yazdani Chirati to forfeit.
And 0-1.
And then he lost his next one because he
lost to Bekbulatov.
For this level. Yeah, he's not that competitive, dude. That kills Iran, and that is just stupid. I mean, listen, this is completely self-inflicted by Iran, of course, right?
It's not Iran wrestling; it's completely their government.
Iran government.
This isn't. I think it's a misconception. It's not like a religious or anti-Semitic thing. This is strictly Iran-Israel governmental relations type thing. Iran refuses to even recognize Israel as a sovereign state. Therefore, like in sporting competitions, you cannot wrestle them.
Yes. Dang.
It's a China-Taiwan similar situation.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Yeah. That hurts Iran in the team competition because they're going to get literally 0 points
at that weight. And Baby Yaz, he could have won. He was definitely a title threat. He probably not the favorite. The Japan dude at this weight is incredible and played the part this morning. But Baby Yaz definitely could have given him a go. Yeah, Narakini.
Who is he still in the bracket? I'm looking at 65. Who was what's wild that Seabass is the 3rd seed? That's kind of wild.
Seabass could make the semis.
Yanni's got this tough first. Tavanyan's good first round.
That he beat Yanni last year.
Yes. So, Sebastian's got Turkey, France winner, and then he's got Mongolia, Guinea-Bissau, Romania, or Poland, who none of those guys are all that good. And then, you look at Yanni, he's going to Tavanyan first. Then he's going to go Dubov, who's solid. Then he's going to go Valdez, Tobier, or Bajrang. And then if he makes that, then he could have, whoever comes out of those other guys that I mentioned. So, yeah, I think there's a
Yanni,
decent chance.
Bajrang, or Tavanian, probably.
Yeah, well, I think there's a decent chance. You're right that Seabass makes the semis. But this is where, how did he get seated above Yanni? So he placed at a few international tournaments, then I'm guessing?
Yep, he did the ranking series tournaments. What did he take? Second at Pan Am's to Yanni.
Yep.
And he did as many ranking series ranking series as he could.
Yeah, that's what, man, we need to really, especially if our guys not a world medalist, we need to get them. They need to be at all these damn ranking series events, because surely if Yanni would wrestle the same schedule as Seabass, he would he would have as many points, don't you think?
Oh, for sure.
Sure. So, but if you put Yanni, okay, here's it. We haven't had medal this way
Seabass also
since 2006.
took 7th at last year's World Championships, which got him a little points. And then he won Matteo Pellicone.
Yeah, so if you put Yanni in Seabass's spot, you are liking Yanni's chances to break the. If you flip him right now, you're really liking Yanni's chances to break the streak.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. So let's go. We got to get Yanni in all these damn ranking series tournaments.
I would like nothing more.
All right, what are you talking about now? Where's Mr. Bader at? Is he ever coming?
Bader will make a possibly surprise appearance on this show. We'll see. I'm not sure how close he is, but he will definitely be on the Flow Zone watch party for the next session, which starts in about an hour.
Okay, nice.
Looking ahead at those
Next
semis.
session is huge. You got semi, final.
Mm-hmm. We've got
Big
Zane
session.
going against Georgia. Like I said, Burroughs
This
will
guy's
have
been around
Bulgaria.
forever. I don't know how to say his name because it's a tough one. Ayok Shabili. He's been around for a minute, like a really, really long time.
And he had to basically limp off the mat after his quarterfinal, really fought quarterfinal. He's all sorts of taped up, and like they brought out a stretcher, but then he didn't get on it. They brought out a stretcher, but then he like sat up and walked off the mat slowly. But I do not like his chances against a healthy Zane and the way Zane is looking.
He's gonna try to break his leg or something. Let's go.
DT has the Kazakhstan guy who beat Miles Amin in the quarters. They did kind of put it on Miles too. I did not think Miles looked great. He kind of squeaked by his first two guys. He won like 6-2, 6-1, and then only like 4-0 or 4-1 in the round of 16, and then lost 9-1.
Hey, I was right on this guy. This guy, Ayokvishvili, whatever his damn name is.
Nailed it.
He took. It's like a tongue twister. It's Iakobi Ikobishvili. Okay, I got it. Ikobishvili. Yeah, there we go.
Just say it fast. Just say it fast and kind of mumble it.
There we go. 10th in the Olympics in 2016, but then he won the Worlds in 2017, 3rd in 2018, 5th in 2019. So
I see some flip-flops coming in here.
Hey, there we go.
Pull up a seat, Mark Bader.
Alrighty. Okay.
He did win Europeans this year also.
Hop on this blue mic.
Earpiece. Blue mic. Heck yeah. All right.
Hi, Mark Bader.
Talking about how we dominated this morning.
What's up, guys? Yeah. 3 in the semis?
Yep.
I was listening. Hey, I want to go. Can I go back real quick? Ben, you guys were talking about catch wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I was listening on the drive.
Oh, you were listening to the show. Mark, I think you were in that meeting. Do you remember that? You remember that, don't you?
It was like, okay, season 2.
Pull the mic close.
Oh, yeah. Season 2, okay, how'd season 1 go assessing?
Yeah.
And we're just talking about how to make it work. And I thought that's where you were going to go. I was like, is he going to talk about the pin or submit? And it was like...
submit. Everyone started chanting pin or submit.
It was on track, and then all of a sudden they were like, took a hard right, and it just kept going. And it never came close to coming back.
Never came back.
And Ben like had his head in his hands, and he was like, are we just not going to do this? Are we not? No, he didn't. But Ben, and that reminds me because Ben had a house in college with a little wrestling room, little mat room in the basement, and he had a sauna. And I would come over sometimes on the weekends and go sauna. This dude had a book this thick. I opened it up one time. It's like the craziest submission holds you've ever seen. Do you remember this book, Ben?
Oh yeah, I remember it. But it was from Catch Wrestling. Someone got
it was
to me as a gift.
like guillotine behind the arm, crank the neck, all kinds. I mean, like I was like, is this what this dude looks at when he's in the sauna? I was like, son of a gun. It was amazing.
That's so funny.
Do you still have that book?
I was actually like looked over as I had my bookshelf over here. I wouldn't be shocked if it was still in there, but I wouldn't be shocked if it got lost either. I think my mom or someone got me that as a gift because that is the history of wrestling. If we go back, it is legitimately pin or submit. I would actually have a blast doing a pin or submit. Maybe you guys should do that. Bader, do we want to do a pin or submit card?
Catch as catch can.
You know what? I actually tried this during Corona too. I was talking with Gordon Ryan, and I had him convinced to do. I would bring my wrestling team, and he would bring a jiu-jitsu team. It would be pin or submit, and he was actually like, because everyone was trying to think of. Well, no. Everyone was thinking of stuff to do during Corona.
Of course.
No, but then, damn, Danaher's like, nope, that's dumb. Pins are dumb. What does a pin do? And then it was over.
Like there's no real world implementation. Is that what he was thinking?
Yeah. So
like, who cares if you're on your back, as long as you can still choke them out.
Essentially. But I mean, and my argument was that's not actually true because in fighting, if you're on your back, you're likely getting punched in your face. And if we look at real fighting, 90% of the time someone who's on their back is losing the fight. There's the times that the person on bottom is winning, but it's pretty rare. And so my argument was like, yeah, being able to pin someone down does matter. It's a really effective fighting tactic.
Nobody's pulling guard in MMA.
He was not hearing it. Yeah, it's pretty rare. So then it never happened again.
Okay.
But we were talking about this last week with ADCC, which is happening right now, is that we had a guest on, and ADCC originally tried to have rules that were fair for all grapplers, but that's just not true. The jiu-jitsu guys have gotten so good at jiu-jitsu. If you're not high-level jiu-jitsu, you don't have a chance. You don't.
You did ADCC like 09 or 10?
Yeah,
or
09. 2009.
How much different was maybe the tournament and or the landscape of jiu-jitsu?
Well, so I mean, when you looked at that point, there had been guys previously that had won, but and the rule set was more favorable than say like IBJJF or something to that effect. But still,
because takedowns are worth points.
Takedowns are worth points, and there's no pulling guard. There's penalties to pulling guard and all these other things. But then, man, people have gotten so good at jiu-jitsu. I mean, there's just so many really high-level guys right now, and they're so good at the leg locks. If you don't know what you're doing, you're going to get jacked up quick. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
what's going on right now? I think does it actually start tomorrow? Well, I think there's like a
Saturday. There's that thing before. It doesn't actually start until Saturday.
Like
yeah, but the actual tournament doesn't start till Saturday.
Is that something you're gonna watch,
final
Ben?
Sunday.
I'm interested in the Andre Galvao versus Gordon Ryan, but no, I don't think I'll probably try to catch the full card. I always feel like I have too much to watch between MMA and wrestling than to watch more is like I don't watch any other sports, wrestling and MMA, and that's I do catch some disc golf once in a while, but that's about it.
Hey man, cheers to that.
Yeah, a little Final Nine once in a while and flipping on my phone.
Sure. And then I also heard you guys talk about Sarah, right? Single leg, and then she got it, and then the girl kind of shut it down. And I was thinking the same thing, but in her bronze medal match, she was attacking the other side. I think 2 or 3, or maybe all of her attacks went the opposite side. I think this Mongolian led so hard with the one leg that maybe
she was there.
Maybe it was the scouting. She's lead hard with the opposite leg.
Yeah, and sometimes I don't know that this is the case at all here, and or with her, but I know with certain kids I've coached, it has to be like, it has to hit them in the head where they're like, oh wow, you're right, I need to do something different, So sometimes it takes that one dude shutting them down, and like, damn, I got shut down, and then you got to remind them like, hey, remember you attacked the other side of the body really well, how about we go do that too, and then it like clicks for them. So I don't know that that's what happened, but that's that does happen to certain guys.
Yeah, her left side shots in that bronze medal match were nice.
Yeah,
I didn't even remember like an ankle pick, if I remember correctly.
Hey, what did you, Mark? What was your take on? So the pin or submit thing was started by what happened in Sarah's bronze medal match. So I said my take is it should either be legal or completely illegal. What is your take on that scenario?
I heard that too. That's probably about when I started listening.
Okay.
I think it's fine. And I think if they would have given the girl 2 takedown and nothing else, I'm like, you brought her over 2, but that's that. That's fine. I don't, because when you start saying it should be illegal, define what? What exactly is illegal? Taking it a certain way?
Yeah, roll with it. Having the head and arm and rolling to the
arm side.
Trapped arm side. Arm side, yes.
No, I don't. I think that's okay. Keep it legal.
So then would you...
I mean, you're gonna, but then there's going to be chokeouts.
I mean, yeah, there's going to be chokeouts. I don't know. Like, so
well, then let's allow choke. So then if you get to choke him, you get to pin him, right?
No, that's what you said. I don't agree. They choke him. Okay, stop.
Why not?
She's unconscious. She's unconscious. Okay, stop. Everything was fine.
But then it's cool because they can't even fight the pin when they're unconscious.
Well, now we're back to catch wrestling. Seriously, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then okay, you can't go naked without an arm, right? You got to have the arm in there.
You gotta have the arm. Yeah.
And she took it to the arm side or to the opposite side?
The arm side, which is so my point is like if you go to the trapped arm side, if you go opposite trapped arm, you can get the shoulder lifted sometimes. I mean, you do gotta make it tight, right? But you can get the shoulder lifted and actually, use your hips and pop them over. But going to the trapped arm side, except that when the younger kids, they don't understand how to keep their balance at all, so they just roll over, little gator roll. But once you get to like a high school level and the kids understand their balance, you can't go that way. The only way you're going that way is if you're choking them. That's it.
You put your head on the same side with the arm?
Yeah, and then you roll, and they're not going over unless they suck and they don't understand balance, or they're getting choked. That's the only two ways.
Not if somebody's just strong enough?
No, because you can look at Sarah. You can keep a base there. There's nothing to take your base away. You can keep your base there. It's pretty easy.
I don't know. I don't like saying that's illegal. And I get she got choked out, but she was fine. People get choked out and then they're fine. Then. Say what?
Let's let them choke people out and pin them then.
That's your opinion. That's fine. We're doing catch wrestling then. Pin or submit. She pinned and submitted her.
That's funny.
Submitted then pinned.
Yeah. I mean, she didn't submit, but she went limp. I guess if somebody goes limp, you just pin them. You don't have to submit them. They can't.
Yeah. They're done. They're just going to pin you. Just roll them over and pin them, and then the match is over. We're cool.
Because that conversation a few years ago, it dove into. Then we just started getting granular about well, how would it work and all the different moves and who would go against who and it got intense.
We were deep in the conversation, and then I don't recall how it ended, but then we were just done, and then it was over.
Part of me was like, did this get derailed on purpose because we just didn't want to have a second season? And it was like,
that's possible.
We'll take it off the rails, and then we were so far off the rails
that
there was no bringing it back.
That's not how Martin works. Martin is, he gets into something, and then he's just like, boom, and then it went down that way, and then I mean, I don't know. The first season obviously didn't go all that well. It was just I was complaining to JD because people didn't want to wrestle each other, and I know Christian's had that experience also about getting the best matchups can be challenging.
It wasn't even the best matchups. I remember it was, some people just
I know who the worst one was. I don't know if I'll put his name out here.
No, don't put his name out. I don't know necessarily who you're talking about, but I remember a couple.
There was one guy he was pissing me off so bad. So he said, "I'll tell you what he did, Mark." So first I said, "Okay, hey, I want you to wrestle this guy. Here's the price." And he said, "I don't want to wrestle any Americans. I don't want to wrestle any Americans. I want to wrestle, but I don't want to wrestle any Americans." I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's annoying, right? Because it makes it really hard because it's not like there's good people in Canada. There's not good people in Mexico. We got to go way over to Europe to find someone good. So anyway, then this other person, Frank Popolizio, actually said, well, listen, I have some connections. I'll bring in, I don't remember which country it was, somewhere in Europe, right?
So, yeah. I'll
bring in a few, whatever. And then I went back to the dude and I said, well, hey, man, obviously this match versus this guy is not going to be as exciting because no one knows this guy. Yeah. So, we could pay you, but it's going to be like half of what we would have paid you. Because the other match is really, two guys, we're really excited about these two guys. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I won't do it. Not enough money. I'm like, well, come on, dude. I'll pay you more money to just wrestle someone everyone's interested in. And he's like, no, I won't wrestle an American. I'm like, okay, cool. Then wrestle this European guy. And he's like, not enough money. And I'm like, oh, you just don't want to freaking, you're being a whip. You just don't want to wrestle. This is disgusting.
I do remember that. And then I believe.
I was so mad.
Yep. It's frustrating, right? Because
So frustrating.
we're trying to make something cool, trying to make a league, trying to pay people, and they didn't want to wrestle. It's like, well, you're going to wrestle this person at the U.S. Open for free.
Yeah, 100%. So that was hard.
Yeah.
Oh man, now you got me frustrated. So I started thinking about that again.
You look frazzled.
Well, it was just like we had a cool right? Flo took a chance on something. And wrestlers always complain about how we don't have a professional league. And we had the opportunity to do a professional league, right? Flo was willing to spend resources to try to make something happen. And at that point, Martin knew it was going to be, 2, 3, 4 years before something profitable comes out of it, of course. But it was so hard to get people to wrestle. And the best guys wouldn't wrestle each other. And it was just like, oh, this is so frustrating. Like the people, the best guys at that time was like, guys, have some vision. Like we're all complaining we don't have something professional. So have some vision here and maybe make a little sacrifice. And because, now Flo can't pay guys more, right? And back in the day, it wasn't what I was able to offer people. It wasn't that much. I mean, it wasn't nothing, but it wasn't a lot either. And now when you guys have done some cards, you guys are paying guys a decent amount of money. So if they would have taken the time and invested in that, probably in themselves, right? Because they probably would still be the ones benefiting, from this 3, 4, 5 years later, and built up this league where people are actually excited about matches. Because at the end of the day, matches need to mean something for people to really, really excited.
That's been the hurdle.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, that's been the hurdle.
And that was the hurdle, right? Is in this league that doesn't mean anything. The matches don't mean anything, so people won't get that excited. But if you build it up, like the UFC obviously started as nothing. And now it means the most to win a belt, right? Or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
UFC is also different because you were creating a whole new sport, right? Wrestling's been around for.
Yeah, but but okay. Well, I'll give you a really super easy pushback. Is jiu-jitsu. You guys frequently get the best guys versus the best guys on jiu-jitsu cards. That happens.
Yep.
Yeah. And there's not, there's other tournaments. They can go to ADCC, right? But there's very frequently where the best guys are competing against the best guys on your grappling cards.
I think too, though, I think there's a more, wrestling has more structure, right? There's the world championships.
Every year
Olympics,
has the peak.
Right? What's the peak? Is it IBJJ? Is it ADCC? Is it who's number one? Is it whatever? And in wrestling, and I'm not as familiar with jiu-jitsu, so maybe it is as in jiu-jitsu as much, maybe not. Wrestling, the order's pretty established. We know who's 1 or 1, 2, 3, and then the next tier, and then below. But I feel like jiu-jitsu is kind of broken up and fragmented a little bit more, which makes it tough.
Yeah, I think you're definitely right on that.
Say it louder.
Oh.
You're definitely right.
No, you're definitely right. Jiu-jitsu is absolutely more segmented, but there is a semi understanding, and the guys are frequently willing to compete against each other on these essentially pay-per-view or league cards. And I think the same thing could happen in wrestling. It would take 2, 3, 4 years to establish that this is really meaningful, and then because these things are symbiotic, right? Once this thing becomes meaningful, more people are likely to tune in. When more people are likely to tune in, you can then pay them more also, right? So it's like I said, they're investing in themselves. These guys are still not getting paid anything or nothing significant to win the world championships, right? From UWW, they're not getting paid anything.
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah. So if they invested in themselves and created this league, then now the best guys are getting older. But if they would have said 23 to 26, if they would have said, hey, let's freaking go do this, let's make some freaking awesome cards, we could have potentially built something, and then they could be the ones benefiting from it.
They do get paid Living the Dream Fund, and a lot of RTCs, I believe, pay stipend or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. A lot of jiu-jitsu guys not only don't
Yes.
get paid to train. They literally pay to train.
Yeah.
A lot have other ways, what is it, BJJ Fanatics or whatever. You can sell your techniques and stuff to make money that way, but if they want to make money, they have to compete.
All we need to make a league work is another pandemic.
Honestly, I tried really hard to tell Christian, Christian, let's do this. Let's do this. Like, when you guys lost that Big Ten contract, I called him, let's spend all the money on this league. Let's make this league. We could do this. We got Corona. No one's doing events. We can do this league right now is the time. Let's sign these dudes to 5-year contracts. Let's freaking do this.
Yeah. I
didn't convince him.
Yeah.
Maybe the next global pandemic.
It was the card era. God, please, let's not have another. As badly as I want a league, more badly I don't want to stay at home for 10 years. Or whatever. That was
so funny. That's terrible.
Kind of funny, but kind of not.
Not funny at all.
All right. Looking ahead, we got 45 minutes, so we're going to have to wrap up here in the next couple minutes so we can get set up for the semis. After that will be medal matches. We've got Helen taking on Japan, Tamira taking on Japan, and then Amit has Kazakhstan.
Dude, how about, we know the other two are studs. We thought Amit was good, but we had no idea what she was doing at the senior level. She's a bona fide killer.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah. She's a beast.
She's 18?
Yeah, because last year she was too young.
19?
So no, I think she's 18 because last year the deal was with
she was too young for Olympic trials, right?
Yeah, because with USA Wrestling it goes by it's a birth year issue.
January
so
1.
I think she was like a
day or something.
Yeah, she was like a January 1 or 2.
Oh
like
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
To that effect.
So she gave up her first 2 points, I think, late in the semifinal match. But she hadn't given up a point in a year or something crazy.
Yeah.
So she's trying to go. She won gold at juniors this year. She could win gold here at seniors, and she's going to U23s.
Dang. Yeah, America right now in the upper weight female division is so ridiculously tough because you obviously have Tamira. Adeline's going to come back. You have Mate Lore. And then you're going to have Kylie and Kennedy, the Blade sisters, coming back soon, too. They kind of took all three of those guys, Blades, and obviously Adeline. So all Kylie. 4 of those people, Kylie took the year off, essentially. So, man, upper weights. And then obviously when you go to the Olympics in 2 years, there's no 72. So it's 68 or 76.
Yeah. Talking about some depth.
Yeah, we were talking about the other day, the decision, for Amit and Blades, do you go up or do you go down, try and go down and take on Tamira?
It's not really a good choice there.
And not great. Their bodies, right? They're not that old, so they could still be growing, right?
Right.
Yeah,
I feel like Kennedy's going to grow in, she's tall and she's got a lot of room to grow into her body. So,
yes.
I don't know. That's a tough one. It'll be fun to watch, though. No, we're going to have killers no matter what.
That's the... the pros and the cons to the 6 weights. Yeah. Con, obviously not everybody gets on the team.
Only cons.
The pros is we get awesome matches at Olympic trials.
Oh, boo. I hate this.
Shut up.
I'm going to get fired up again.
Shut up. That's the one pro.
Shut up on the radio. Tell Mark Bader I'm going to come down to Austin and whoop your little ass.
Hey, we don't have a league to set up these matches. This is how we got to get them.
Me and Mark Bader. No, me and Mark Bader will be the main event of the initial catch wrestling card.
30 seconds. I bet you can't pin me.
Oh, the Cradle challenge?
You
cheated. You cheated.
Why did I cheat?
Because
why did I cheat?
Loser has to shave their head.
So this was before one of his Bellator fights in Oklahoma.
I was really fighting that night. I just pinned his ass. No problem.
And so I had just done the Jordan Oliver thing where it was 30 seconds. Or I think it was 2 minutes or something. It was closer to a minute or two with Jordan. But Ben's a little bigger, so he's at 30 seconds. And you were on top. I was on bottom. Mo Lawal was the ref.
Mm-hmm.
It was literally in the warm-up area back in the back. And he said, go. And I grabbed Ben. He said, you can stall, you can do whatever.
Turtle up.
Go. Yeah. I grabbed his arm and I had it. And I'm like, I'm just going to hold on to this. And then somebody said, false start. And I was like, What? Foul! I got the damn heart. I'm gonna hug this for the next 30 seconds. And they're like, restart. And I'm like, well, this is stupid. Okay, give him a second chance. And then he got him. With like 5 seconds to go. I do feel like I got him warmed up for the fight, and then he won the fight. So
there we go.
Take
That's
cut
all
of the
that matters.
purse whenever you're ready to pay that up. Send you my Venmo.
No, I hate the 6 weights. So you guys tell me to shut up. You guys can shut up.
No, I don't like it either. But I will say, if we're gonna do it, at least we get some good matches out of it.
Yeah, you got to find some positive in everything, Ben. You can't always be so negative.
Hey, speaking of the 6 weights, you know who looks huge and I feel like has no chance of making the bottom weight? Zayn. Zayn looks freaking big.
I was thinking about that. Is he gonna go down
Dude,
or up?
There's no way he's going down. He looks big.
Okay, were you gonna go up and take on Kyle and Jordan?
I feel like, yes, when I look at him, I feel like there ain't no way this dude's going back down to 65 ever. He looks huge.
It'll take him a year.
How in the F is Miocic making 57?
He's going back down?
Did he actually make it?
He hasn't weighed in yet, but he's in the bracket. So when entries came out and he was at 57, I thought
he was
too.
going 61. Miocic is in this bracket.
So when entries came out and he was listed at 57, I was like, that's just like a typo or whatever. But now he's actually in the bracket at 57.
Wow. So that does, I mean, that literally, that does kind of give him, I don't want to say give him an excuse, but you excuse his performance for the year because maybe he stayed that small. Like if you're wrestling 141 and you can literally make 57, those are a long way apart.
But
he wrestled 65 after the season.
He said
65 kg.
He said 65 was the plan. Last time I talked to him, it was all about, hey, I've taken some time to get my body big.
He was hurt during the folk style season.
So somewhere along.
So do you think it's a misprint?
I thought it was originally, but now he's in the bracket.
Like maybe it's in Serbia, so they're using a special Serbian scale.
That's what I'm saying. He's using the power of the home crowd.
Scale. The meat scale.
They did that in the World Cup. What was this dude's name? Oh, his name was Georgi Katoyev, and we all had this. I remember because it's only 6 teams or whatever, right? So that's not a lot of dudes at the World Cup. Was it 8? I don't remember.
Maybe
I feel like this year it was 2008 January. I feel like it was 6. I feel like we did a round robin of 3, and then we wrestled the same place in the other pool.
Sure, maybe it is.
I could be wrong. It wasn't a lot of people, and at that point there's 7 weights. So we're talking, okay, either 42 or 56 people in the bracket, and so everyone's on. There's a scale right there. Everyone's getting on the scale, and then all of a sudden Katoyev goes into this other room. And everyone's like, where's he going? What's he doing? And then he comes out and they're like, make weight. And we're like, wait a minute. What?
That's not fishy at all.
Yeah, it was such crap. I hadn't thought about that for a while.
Maybe he did the towel thing.
Well, he didn't have to do the towel thing because they closed the door. He went in that room and he made weight right over there. Everyone was here. He went there. I think that's probably Andy Rovat's weight class. It was something like that. You guys can ask him about that. But yeah, that happened. He went in this other room and made weight. They were like, wait a minute.
Russian?
Georgi Katoyev. Yeah, he was. I think he wrestled for someone else. Like once he got. This is what a lot of the Russians do. Once he got not as good, I think he went to a different country. Okay, I'm looking him up.
Where was this World Cup?
That was 2008 in Vladikavkaz. Yeah, so he won gold in 2007. He won bronze in 2008. And then he won a bronze representing Armenia in 2017.
2008 and then 2017?
So 7, he won the world in 7. He took bronze in 8. And then he represented Armenia in 2017.
Was he up at a higher weight in 2017?
Yeah, he was at 97.
Yeah.
Jason Bryan says Katoyev had his own sweater. I'm assuming he's talking back hair.
Probably, I would guess.
Yeah.
Shoulder hair.
So funny. Wild memories.
That was a long time.
Yeah.
Did you wrestle Sargouche at that World Cup?
Yeah, he ripped my hair out. Yeah. And then the refs were like, this is no problem. This is okay. Like, there was literally a big old chunk of hair sitting on the ground. And I pointed like, hey, what about this? And they're like, no problem. Bullshit. I'm trying to get head movement. And he's just like, and I'm like, oh. And then there's the hair sitting on a big chunk of hair sitting on the mat. I'm like, what about that? And they're like, no, he could do that.
I see nothing.
Holes in singlets, globs of hair.
That dude was the dirtiest.
2-time champ.
So dirty.
All-team dirty wrestler.
He would be the captain of the all-time dirty wrestling team.
Yes, he would be. All right, I think that's going to do it for FRL this week. We're off
tomorrow. When's the session start? Hey, you know who's... Oh, I thought we were going tomorrow, JD.
I don't think so. I don't think it's going to work out. Maybe okay. I'll talk to Christian. I'll see when he gets back from Las Vegas. Maybe we could do a special Monday. I don't know if you can make it. We'll talk. Monday, we'll let you all know.
I don't think I can. Let's do like Sunday night. Can we do Sunday night?
Christian will be in Las Vegas.
Christian. Hey, can I tell a real funny story? And Bader, you're going to love this because I think you're going to understand it. You know who always texts me? And he's constantly complaining about the time. So you need to tell him the time. Chael Sonnen. He texted me 3 times last night. Bro, do you remember, Bader, do you remember Greg Warren had this comedy routine about how
3-2. The score is 3-2. Yes, 2-3 is the score. The score is 3-2. Yes, right?
That's the bit I was thinking. Like, Chael's like so obsessed with what the damn time is. So, JD, you need to tell Chael like 3 ways what the time for this next session. The semis start at what time?
The semis start at 9:45 a.m. Central Time. That's 10:45 Eastern.
That's 15 minutes before 10 a.m. Central Standard Time.
Yes.
9:45 Central?
15 minutes after 9:30
7:45 in West Lynn, Oregon, right?
Yes.
Think so.
I think so.
Well, what time is that in Denver then?
Denver is mountain.
Split the difference.
So that would be 8:45 a.m. mountain.
Okay. So, again, the time is 7:45, which is also, that's in 33 minutes.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, if we were talking about Oregon.
All right. 33 minutes. Everybody tune in. Bader and me are going to be watch partying up. Flow Zone stream. Semis. Men's freestyle going. Zane, Jordan, DT. That's it. Yep. That's it for Team USA. That's right. And then the finals afterwards for the ladies. You're not going to want to miss it.
Check it, folks.